Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 2013 award show audit. How's everyone doing tonight?
Welcome, welcome, everyone.
Yeah,
I'm doing good. How are you doing, Shadow?
I'm doing pretty good. I actually am feeling really good. So it's
Well, don't feel too good.
oh
And
okay. Well, maybe
I,
I'm not
yeah,
feeling really good. Maybe I'm feeling moderately good.
okay. I'm just saying we can't host an award show if you feel too good. You know that's how you get like smug and cocky.
That's true.
You know, no one likes presenters who are like that. You gotta be. I want you to have a good day. You're my friend. I support you, but just don't feel too good.
Okay, then I will keep my goodness in moderation.
Okay, good. Like all things, like all
Oh
things.
yes, yes.
Um, how's everyone out in the chat? How do we sound? How's our audio? How's our video? How's our beautiful looping clip? Is it looping
Yes.
properly?
Oh, it's looping. It's most definitely looping.
Yeah.
Huh.
Um, yeah, so who is ready for 2013? They can't hear Shadow at all.
They can't hear me?
Uh, or they're trolling.
I hope they're not. I'm a little quiet. Oh, well, if I'm quiet, that quietness is one thing, but like not being heard at
Mm.
all. I was worried for a second there. Okay.
Mm. Sometimes quiet is violence.
Quiet is violence.
Uh, Um, all right, cool. So we're here. We sound good. 2013. What a year. What a year. What happened in 2013? Not a lot in cartoons, apparently.
I mean, I couldn't tell you much.
Well, it was the year of the snake in the Chinese zodiac.
Awesome.
And that really tells you everything you need to know about 2013.
Oh, okay. There you have it. What? I guess I don't know.
Well, I can hear.
The console wars began.
New words like twerk and selfie were added to the dictionary.
Oh God,
Uh,
that it was that year. Oh, no
we got a
wonder I
new
forgot it.
we got a new royal baby.
Yay.
Uh, yeah, a lot of awful stuff happened because at any time, excuse me, my throat. Anytime you try to look for significant things that happened in a given year, it always just tells you, oh yeah, well there was a bomb that went off and killed a bunch of people, and
Yep.
that's not really the vibe that I want to go with for the show. So, but yeah, there you go, twerk, twerk, the word twerk. We're here, Shadow. A word very special to my friend Shadow.
No, I hate that word, and I hate what it's done to my life.
People are still saying you're quiet. I think,
Okay.
guys, Shadow's just a quiet person. I can, if, how about I bring my energy level down to Shadow's, right? And then, so I'll just kind
I'm
of
going.
be here.
I'm going to
Yeah.
make a quick adjustment to see if I can get my audio sounding better, because I think there might be one way to fix this.
Okay.
So keep the crowd entertained in the meantime. It should only take me like 30 seconds.
Oh, you guys, you know I can do that. Sorry for the delay, guys. Hope you guys are hyped. I'm gonna be honest with you. We have a pretty good show lined up today. There's a lot of really interesting episodes to talk about. Things that aren't quite as much, but compared to some other years, I think this is definitely one where we're going to have a ton of things to talk about. It's the first year where there's actually two two kids cartoon episodes. So we'll have those to compare against each other. One from Nick and one from Cartoon Network. Um, yeah, I think Shadow just heard I said the word twerk, and then he just dipped. I think that's what happened. He's like, "Yeah, let me adjust my microphone," and as he's walking away, and that's why he's getting quieter.
Yeah, I'm done. I'm not playing around anymore. All right. Let me know if this sounds better. I think it should now.
See, I've been able to completely understand you this whole time.
Yeah,
Um, if you guys are wondering, Shadow hosts these streams, so
I do.
yeah. So I can sit here and say I can understand him, but you guys might not be able to.
Yeah. So yeah,
Uh,
definitely let me know now if I'm better.
yeah. Shadow already made I think a live stream talking about that CW Powerpuff Girls script.
I
Go look at his
did.
channel.
I
He
did.
already, yeah, he covered it.
That stream,
Hey,
that stream
you
got
sound good.
way more attention than I ever expected it to. So much better. Okay, there we go.
Yay. All right. Well, there was a deficit of award show audit last week, so let's try to give an overstock of it this week.
All right.
Double the length, guys. 3
Wow.
hours.
I don't
Award show
know.
audit.
I
Here
don't
we
know.
go.
I don't know if I have enough to say for 3 hours worth, but I'll definitely. I can definitely promise we've got a full show at least.
All right. Well, let's get in there. Let's
Okay.
get it going. Shadow, what were the nominees for the 2013 half hour or more animated Emmy Award category prime time?
Okay. All right. So 2013, we've got Bob's Burgers, the OT, the outside toilet. Bob's Burgers is still here. Yay.
If we were shock jocks, we'd have like a flush radio sound.
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
like, oh, Bob's boilets.
Bob's.
Bob's boils. Bob's. Oh God. All right. Anyway, just move on.
Okay. Kung Fu Panda: Legends of Awesomeness. Enter the Dragon. That's a mouthful.
Two-parter.
South Park: Raising the Bar, not singular. Don't get them confused. Regular shows on here with the Christmas special. And last but not least, The Simpsons: Treehouse of Horror 23.
Or XXIII. All right. Yeah, so I have no other preludes or anything. I think I've used all my banter up. Let's just get into it. Let's talk about Bob's Burgers.
All right.
Actually,
all
wait,
right.
no, we have an announcement. Wait, no, we have an announcement.
Oh, okay.
Right?
Can do
We
that
have an
now.
announcement.
Yeah, we can do it.
Yeah.
Now.
Yeah. Let me I'm gonna put it in the description right now. I'll tell everyone when to refresh, but we have something special, a place where you can now go and talk about this show and the episodes that we talk about. I'm not stalling for time. This is a thing that we are doing. Where is that link?
He's not stalling, guys. I promise you, he's not stalling at all. This is all
right,
just for
here we
dramatic
go.
effect.
Link, boop, badoop, badoop, no limit, okay. Generating a new link, copying, throwing that in the description.
If I had a
And
drum roll sound effect, I'd play it.
clicking save. Everyone refresh the page. And we have a Discord server, ladies and gentlemen.
Yay.
So, there we are. Who could have seen that coming? Certainly not I. But yeah, if you want to talk about the show, our show, you want to talk about the episodes that we talk about, want to just come hang out with us, the Discord server would be the place to do it. You're in the right place when you see a disgusting abomination as the image.
Yeah. That's for damn sure. All right.
Yeah. Hey, and we got some new people in here. Cool.
Dope.
Yep, we put some basic features in for right now, and as people join, we'll add more stuff. We'll get more moderation going and everything. So, and at some point, we'll be able to let you choose your own roles too, which will be fun. So, yeah. Is this a Smash reveal? Oh gosh. Oh, and one more thing. Sonic is on our server.
Yeah.
Not really.
Oh.
All right, good. The first comment posted in new members is spelling my name wrong. Okay. Yeah, so as the show goes on, we will be looking at the YouTube chat, but we'll also take a look at the Discord server and see comments left there. You'll be able to leave more like detailed comments and we'll see them. So yeah. All right. Bob's Burgers.
All right. So, yeah, the first nominee of 2013 was Bob's Burgers, OT, the outside toilet.
Yes. This was an episode about Gene finding a toilet that it's basically like an Amazon toilet, like a smart speaker, but a toilet that fell off the back of a truck, and Gene parents it, and it's a big ET parody. And there's a guy hunting it down, trying to get the $15,000 toilet back. Meanwhile, Bob got a suit off of a dead guy, and everyone thinks he looks amazing.
Yep. Yeah,
uh,
surprisingly, there's only one line about Tina liking boys. Other than that, it's completely absent from this episode, which was already a good sign.
Only episode we've talked about that
Hmm.
is not about Tina. There was the one Valentine's Day episode where it kind of everyone got a story, even though I think Tina's was the main story. Although I
Yeah.
don't want to get into that debate. Um, but otherwise, it's just been Tina all the way down, and this is the first time it's a Jean story.
Hmm.
So that's something, right? If this episode were written in like 2021, it would be Tina that finds the toilet and like finds it cute.
Yeah.
She would be like, "Nice tank." I don't know. She'd be like, "Oh, you're a
Man.
cute toilet." Okay, I'm gonna stop. This is
Okay.
getting weird. No, but am I wrong in that like I don't know. I'm sure there are other episodes that aren't about Tina, but from what we saw, it's the Tina show all the time.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. So, uh,
Okay,
I
wait.
want to be,
So,
yeah, yeah,
sorry, I'm just speculating here, but do you think
uh-huh.
that the reason why it's a Tina episode every time is because the first time they used a Tina episode, assuming next week's isn't, they won, so they just kept pushing Tina? Do you think that's it?
I don't know. She's a fan favorite character.
I don't see
Uh,
why, but
everyone empathizes with Tina. Um,
mhm.
who hasn't had a crush on boys and has looked at their butts all the time?
I
Everyone's
mean,
gone through that phase.
uh, speak for
So,
yourself, but
uh, um, yeah, don't quote me there. Get out of here.
yes, quote him. Quote
You're all
him
monsters.
now.
Uh, um, okay, but anyway, uh, I thought this was a great episode. I think this is the best episode we've seen.
I agree, 100%.
I, I if every episode we saw was of this quality, I would understand why people like Bob's Burgers. That's
Absolutely.
like genuinely. Um, it was funny, it was weird, it was charming. The characters were likable. There was a like a character arc too. Like they set up the fact that Jean is comedically terrible about caring for flower babies. They're doing like the classic home ec, take home a bag of flour and treat it like a baby. And Jean hilariously just drops them on the ground immediately. He gets three chances and he flubs it each time. And so he kind of cares for the toilet like he would one of these sacks of flowers. And then Bob has to give him a speech at the end about how to that child rearing is hard or whatever. Caring for things is tough. So it had more to it than just like here's a stupid nonsense story about uh Tina getting stood up on a date or whatever. Like it meant something and it was funny. Like
Hmm.
and the cool thing about it is that even though it's an ET parody, and of course they do the money shot, right?
Yeah.
The in front of the moon on a bike. Always got to have it in your ET parody. It's still its own story. I don't feel like they followed ET so closely that they hit on like every single beat of that story. Like it's not like the FBI is looking for this toilet or whatever. It's someone that turns out to be a thief, which is also a pretty good twist to it. It's not incredibly obvious that that's what's going on here.
Hmm.
uh, Character played by Neil Flynn, who calls himself Max Flush, and that turns out to just be like a fake name because he's a criminal. And they make fun of the fact that like no one, like everyone's like, oh yeah, his name's Max. Like they fell for such a stupid phony name.
Yeah.
Um, because I mean, it would be like any other name on this show. I
Hmm.
could see someone named Max Flush just being a straight character on the show, but uh, really cool. And I also like that the toilet kind of behaves like a smart speaker. Really, it doesn't do anything that's like fantastical or too weird. It's like if it just kind of follows basic commands, and this is
Hmm.
joked about, especially at the very end where Gene is trying to have a heartfelt goodbye with it, and it's a smart speaker, so it just thinks Gene is telling it to like that it wants to vomit, that he wants to vomit.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah,
Yeah, I think the humor's at its best here, like you said. I mean, there's some pretty good one-liners too. I mean, just the fact that like when Tina and what's her face, the pink hat girl, uh,
Louise.
yeah, that's right. When Jean shows the toilet to them, Tina like goes on her whole spiel about like, she said I forget what she said. She said something about liking boys or whatever, and it's like I actually laughed because it just told her no.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was great.
Oh yeah, yeah. It is like, tell me you love me, or say I love you, and also that I'm a cute boy and not just a talking toilet or whatever. And
And
he's
he's
just
like,
like,
no.
no.
Yeah, it's great. It's great. I really do. I thought that the story was actually, fun. I mean, especially the part where
Yeah.
they're being chased by Max Flush.
Well, it uses animation. That's
Yeah,
the thing.
that's what I was about to get into. It's like it's actually dynamic. Like there's things that actually happen. There are shots where the characters move and their body actually changes position. I know, shocking.
Yeah, well, that's the crazy thing I noticed. Like towards the beginning of the episode, when Gene is grabbing the bags of flour, he is looking at the teacher and not dead at the audience, or like, and it's not a side by side shot. Like there's actual cinematography in this episode, which is
Unbelievable.
something. Yeah. And for an episode about a toilet, it's probably the least toilet humor of all the episodes we watched.
Yeah, for real. I was like genuinely surprised because just with that alone, you'd think or you'd expect it to be like way more crude, but no, it was very light on that.
Yeah. And yes, we are reading chat, but maybe say something. If you say something that's worth bringing up, I'll bring it up. That's all. Step up your game, chat.
Ooh,
No. But yeah, no, I kind of wish this was the last one we were. Well, I always wish the current episode of Bob's Burgers is the last time we have to talk about it.
Yeah.
But I wish this was the last one because this one really did kind of show up everything else. I think even compared to the dissected pig episode and the horse episode, I think this is a lot better than both of those. And I really like I enjoyed the pig episode. And I thought the horse episode was like okay. But I think this is just like, this is the show. If this is the show, if this is the average quality of the show, this is a good show. This is a show that's worth being praised and loved and going on for however many seasons. If all the episodes were like this, and maybe there are dozens of other episodes, I can only judge on what I've seen. Then I get it. I do get it at this point.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. Like, if we had started with this, then my impression of the show would probably not have been as negative. I mean, not to say
no, but it would have been worse. It would have been worse because we would have, if we had started with this, then it would just continuously like be bad and bad and bad, and then
true.
And then eventually we'd get to the pig episode and be like, all right, this is okay again.
Right. It just stinks though that like we had to sit through so much crap for us to get to like this is an episode like I would go back and watch again. Like,
yeah,
nothing against the horse episode or the Halloween episode. Like they were decently good, but I'm not going back to watch them again. This one I would watch again. So like let that speak for itself there. But
well, I also I sent you before we watched this. I sent you the clip of from the 100th episode, the one that wasn't nominated, where Bob gets stuck in the bathroom and the song about bad things happen in the bathroom. I sent you that. And I'm like, because I wanted to watch it again, because I'm like, there was a reason why at some point I actually watched this show, and I'm like, yeah, no, this is a good music number. I don't know, I don't remember much about the rest of the episode, but this is a good music number. It's catchy, it's got good cinematography, it's interesting, weird subject matter. Louise actually feeling guilty for something she does, like that's great. And then I also sent him the Bad Things Are Bad from the two-parter where Bob gets stuck gets tied to the wharf. What is that? It's like Wharf Wars or something. I sent him that too. He wasn't as impressed, but I like that song too. And that two-parter is good.
Yeah, it's like every time the show references bad, it's good.
Lenny Carl says, good name. The average quality of the first four. It's the average quality of the first 4 seasons. After that, it slows down, but they still have some bangers. Though the past 2 or 3 seasons have been dull, likely because they're also doing a movie. Yeah, Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'll go. Maybe I will watch some episodes from earlier seasons and just kind of see.
Yeah, I mean that's entirely possible.
Yeah, I mean, I believe it. There's tons of shows that get what is it called, like decay or something,
Yeah,
season rot.
seasonal rot.
Yeah, where I mean, it happened basically every Fox cartoon that makes it past a certain amount of seasons goes through it. Um, so, but yeah, no, there's a lot of one-liners in this episode that are just funny. Like they're and it's weird too because I made fun of Gene a lot in the other episodes we watched because he exists to literally say things like, I had a baby today, or like my poop was green last night. Like just these stupid non sequiturs. Um
Mm-hmm.
and yet in this episode he was cool. I liked him, and a lot of the kind of non sequiturs that he had are actually funny. I think when the episode's working overall and I'm laughing at other things, I'm more open and accepting of these out of nowhere jokes versus when I'm bored watching this show and then Gene says something stupid, I'm just like, okay, cool. Um, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. He wasn't super annoying, and I didn't get tired of him really quickly. So I'm glad. Like if he were written like this all the time, I'd definitely like him as a character a lot more. Because most of the time he
Yeah.
just felt like just a time waster, honestly.
And then there's Bob's subplot with uh he's just his mortician friend gives him a suit that was on a dead body and like everyone compliments him. It's not like it's not a great story. It's a B plot. It's
Mm-hmm.
there to fill time. But they get some enjoyable jokes out of it. Like people really like the way Bob looks in that suit. In like over the top are really attracted to him.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just kind of funny. There's a few funny one-liners in there. They have the two plots kind of intersect too, which is neat. And then at the end, it is a good payoff, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Because you kind of forget about the suit plot by the end, and you're like, oh, did they like they never really did anything with that? Maybe this is just kind of dropped once the two plots intersected. Uh, but no, they brought it back and it had a good payoff. I also like just the absurdism of this. Like, there's a point where they bring the toilet into is it a Starbucks or just a coffee
Yeah,
house,
the coffee
and
shop.
yeah, and then Tina's like, "There's no rule about bringing my own bathroom in. I can use yours too." Like,
Mm-hmm.
um, and like the Starbucks or the coffee shop guy's like on the phone, like calling the cops or whatever because they brought a toilet in. Um, Bob is just weirdly accepting of everything because he's drunk. Like I don't know. There's just good stuff, and yeah, I'm absolutely could go for more of this. 100%.
Yeah, I'm in full agreement there.
Mm-hmm. Fox just doesn't know when to have shows end sometimes. Yeah, they ain't that the truth. um, but it is weird. I see some people saying that the show is good in general. They just nominated bad episodes, but like, why? How could they consistently nominate so many
Mm-hmm.
terrible episodes? Like, I don't know. Oh, I like the joke that Teddy thinks that Bob's name is Bob Burgers.
Oh yeah, yeah.
It's so stupid. It's so stupid, but it's funny. It made me laugh a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do. I absolutely recommend this episode to anyone. So
Mm-hmm.
if you want an idea of what like some of the better part of Bob's Burgers looks like, definitely check this out, and then maybe try other stuff from this era. See, season three definitely is a time when like a lot of shows find themselves where they have a season one where they're a little rough, trying to figure out what works. Season two comes out and refines some things, and then season three is like the stride, right? It's like we know what works, we know we have a hit on our hands, we know how to do this. Let's do it right. And then at a certain point, they start experimenting, and then it, then it usually gets bad. Uh, uh, um,
Yeah.
yep. I gotta watch the cruise ship episode where Gene falls in love with a puppet. I feel like I read the description of that one. Oh no, you know what? I think Jim's was telling me about that one. Maybe that's
Mm-hmm.
why. Um, yeah, I don't know. I don't really have anything else to say. It's just a funny episode, a good story. It's like got some parody stuff, but it doesn't go overboard. You don't have to have seen ET at all, like at all.
Yeah, like the
Um,
references are very, very minor and subtle. It's
yeah,
Yeah, you're right.
What?
You don't have to see it at all. I didn't even realize it was a parody until like the whole chase sequence. Like the naming scheme of the episode, like I didn't even recognize it at
Really?
first. I didn't. Like it
Really?
honestly flew over my head, and then as soon as I saw the chase sequence, I'm like, oh, I get it now,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
it all came together.
yeah.
But
So, yeah, when I heard the plot description, I'm like, how are they going to do like an ET parody and have it not be super fantastical, right? Like, is it all
yeah.
going to be like a dream sequence to Gene? Because the show sticks relatively close to the real world.
Hmm.
And yeah, I buy it. It seems no smarter than like an Amazon Alexa or whatever, right? I mean,
Yeah.
they stretch it a little bit maybe for the sake of the story, but at no point did I feel like this is too ridiculous and stupid to happen. Like
Hmm.
it felt well within the world's the framework of the world.
Yeah. Yeah, that about
Yep,
sums
yep.
up my thoughts on it, though. I don't have much more. Like, we've talked about this show so many times that it's like, I don't know. I don't want to be a broken record.
Yeah,
So, all right. Well, I guess we can move on to the second nominee then.
absolutely.
All right. So, next up, we've got Kung Fu Panda, The Legends of Awesomeness, Enter the Dragon.
Man.
Have you ever seen this show at all?
No,
Okay,
no, I
neither have
was
I.
staunchly I was against the DreamWorks shows. When DreamWorks invaded
Mhm.
Nickelodeon, I was like, this is just what is this?
Yeah, I did not watch any of these shows. I saw like a few
Yeah.
episodes of the Penguins of Madagascar, but I was quickly turned off. So I'm
Mhm.
not familiar with this at all.
Yeah, I saw. I mean, I think most people have seen at least the first Kung Fu Panda.
Hmm.
I think I've seen the second one. I don't. I'm not sure. I think I saw it on like an airplane or something. I don't know that I saw all of it. Um, but yeah, I had no familiarity with this, and it's been years since I've seen Kung Fu Panda. So like, I have no. I enjoy the movie, but I have no special attachment to it in any
Yeah.
way. And I never would have watched this show had it not been for this.
Hmm.
So. Um, as it seems to just follow just basically in the footsteps of the movie. There's no big status quo shakeup or anything. It's just Poe being the Dragon Warrior, um, training and saving the town and stuff. This episode, it's a two-parter, and it's basically about how there is this tree that's been protecting people from the demons, and when the tree dies, the demons will come back, or the one demon will come back, and then bring about all the rest of the demons. Poe isn't taking it seriously. Like he's bragging about being a hero. He's not studying. He's not paying attention to this big threat. Um, and then the demon comes out and just messes stuff up. And then oh gosh, there's a lot that happens in this.
Yeah,
Uh,
it's like a big thing.
the master sends Poe off,
Hmm.
get out of town, get away from us, while the dragon,
Ruined
the demon
everything.
is also a dragon, I should say. Um, while the dragon is like squeezing out his essence or something, and Poe leaves, but then Poe is the one with the magical essence that the demon needs to summon the demon friends, and Poe comes back. I don't know. Long story short, they all defeat the demon.
Hmm.
This
Yeah.
is a weird. This is a weird Ben 10 Alien Force season 3 episode. Fair enough. Um, hmm.
Yeah.
I don't like this episode because Poe is in it. Says
Oh.
fun time Isaiah. Oof. Man, that's rough. Oh boy, we got a lot of people posted in Discord. We'll get to that. I enjoyed this. I thought it was pretty good.
I thought it was fine. Yeah, I wasn't blown away or really enthralled, but I don't know. It's just I don't know. The thing that was weird. I mean, I haven't seen the show, so I don't know how the show differs from the movie in terms of post
Mhm.
character portrayal. But I never really saw him as the type to get like caught up in like the whole fame aspect of being a hero. He just never
Well,
struck me
he's
as that sort of character.
really. I mean, he's immature. Like
Yeah, he's
that's kind of his
immature,
whole
but I
thing.
never saw him as getting like swept up and letting the fame get to his head, like that sort of thing.
Not like egotistical.
Yeah,
Okay.
like he's not like I don't know. I never saw him as like a YouTuber pushing his merch.
Why would you? Okay. Anyway, I'd like to announce my new Teespring. No.
No,
Yeah.
stop.
Oh gosh.
We're sponsored by Raid Shadow Legends, except not really.
You should be.
I
No, no.
should.
Look. I thought the animation was surprisingly good. I don't know how the rest of the show is. This is a two-parter, so they probably put more effort into this than the average episode. I was reading other episode titles, and it seems to be like weird slice of life, like Poe babysitting or something, like um goofiness.
Hmm.
Uh, but this one definitely seemed to take things relatively seriously. Like they say die a few times. They do a fake out death with Poe, but it's not like they treat it seriously. It's not
Yeah.
like he's just like dead for a second and then he's like, "What I miss, guys," or something stupid. Like they treat it seriously, even if you know he's not gonna die. Um,
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Black Panther ripped off this show.
okay, why?
Because the same thing happens in Black Panther.
There's a lot of fake out deaths.
I know.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. I thought the villain was probably the most interesting part for me.
Really? I thought it was pretty forgettable, to be honest with you.
I mean, I don't know. I just think that I like. Sure, it's kind of a trope, but I like that he started out in his weak like pig form, and everyone like bullied him, and then he's like, "All right, you mess with me, now I'm gonna like show you a thing or two." And when he gets like his full dragon form and he like terrorizes everyone, I was like, that's pretty fitting for him, and it
Mm.
kind of put the village in their place. And honestly, as someone who's seen so much of the reboot, I cannot stand anymore when shows make the villagers mean for no reason. I don't know. I'm not really a fan of that trope at all. It just seems like it's overdone. But
um, yeah, I don't know. I didn't think the villain had that much going. See, like, I found this like it surprised me with how good it was. Not because like I didn't think it. I thought it was a good kids show episode. Like I didn't. I thought that like the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles episode from last week, which is I think a decent comparison here, right? Both CG Nick shows, with action and comedy. I thought the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles episode blew me away a lot more than
oh yeah.
this, but I still I enjoyed watching this. I wasn't really rolling my eyes. I thought Poe was immature, but I didn't think that he was excessively so that I couldn't stand watching it.
Yeah.
I thought that they balanced it out because Master Sifu is so no nonsense and he puts Poe in his place several times that it kind of balances out the goofiness. Um, I was worried with the show about the tone of it
Mhm.
because that's a like there are many action comedies out there, but when you have something called The Legend of Awesomeness, it's hard to tell. Like I did not think this show would take itself seriously at all,
Yeah.
and then but at the same time it does take itself seriously. It's got characters being like grinded to death. Well, that sounds weird. Squeezed to death. No,
I
they
would go
put
with
listen, they put
crushed. I would go
crushed.
with
Yeah, sure.
crushed.
Okay. All right. Crushed to death.
Grinded.
And it's like they show it, man. It's not. I thought when they put the characters in this grinder thing, I thought that it was going to be like a comedy, like sound effects or whatever. But no, it's like, oh crap, he's being squished to death. Like, um, I like that. I thought there were things about it that worked. I thought that the animation was competent. It was solid for TV animation. Had a few things that were weird. When Poe laughed, his cheeks got giant and it looked cursed.
Yeah.
Um, but overall, I thought it was pretty good for TV animation. And yeah. But I will also say like story wise, I thought it was incredibly obvious that Poe was the one with the special spirit and that Sifu sending him away was obviously because he was trying to protect things.
Yep.
Like, of course, Poe wasn't going to let his master die. He was going to come back and mess things up with the plan. They had a plan where he was going to die, and that's how they were going to save things. Like, there's a lot of things. Uh, sorry, just the comment. I can't believe they put Poe in a meat grinder. Oh gosh. No, there are a lot of those like kids show tropes where it's like, all right, the writing isn't as polished. Like they send Poe away, and it seems like Poe's been traveling for a long time, and then they cut back to the demon still holding Master Sifu, saying, "Where's the spirit?"
Yep.
Like the timeline doesn't actually add up on that at all. Po leaves town and then basically immediately has the revelation that he should return to town. Like, there are parts of the story that feel like they were trying to, this could have been a movie, or like they wanted it to be a movie, but certain things happen too fast that it doesn't work with only two parts.
Yeah.
Um, like, I wouldn't say this is something that you all need to seek out and see, but if you're a Kung Fu Panda fan,
Hmm.
like, I think this works. I think it works. I think it's fine.
Yeah, I don't know. I felt like most of the side characters didn't really serve much of a purpose at all. Like they were there and
Just like in the
fine,
movie.
but I mean, I don't know. I feel like at least in the first movie, they at least did a little bit more, you
Yeah.
know. But I don't know. They just kind of felt like, again, time wasters, I guess. I don't know. They didn't really contribute much. They're just kind of like they were basically there to get hurt
Yeah.
between the
Where did I
explosion
watch
and
this? Oh, sorry. I watched it on YouTube, but like I paid for it on YouTube. I'm committed, man. Uh, yeah, I don't know. Like, all right, well, let's see what it's, people are talking in the Discord. People seem to have strong opinions.
Mhm.
Peter Don says, "Here's my problem with the series from what I've seen. Poe was someone who always loved and admired kung fu, but never thought he had what it takes to actually partake in it, which he learns in the first movie and continues to learn in more of the sequels. Sure, he does joke around more than the other fighters, but he always stays true to being the Dragon Warrior throughout the movies for his dedication and respect of kung fu, and knows when to stop goofing off and get serious. In the series, he has to become someone who is much more oblivious as to what's going on, a lot less passionate about kung fu and justice, and just things to be, quote, awesome, and basically is a big idiot, which is inaccurate to his character."
Mhm.
I mean, that's fair. I don't have any disagreements with that, other than just that, like, I think that's the difficulty with a lot of these adaptations where there's going to be movie sequels, and the movie sequels are going to ignore what happens in the series because, it's a movie. It's a bigger budget, bigger scale. They don't want to be tied down to whatever a TV show has to
Yeah.
say. Um, so I don't, I do feel for the writers who have to balance this line where, like, okay, yeah, Poe is kind of a goofy character, but he matures in the movies, but then everyone knows him as the goofy guy. Like, what do you do in that situation? You kind of have to reset him a little bit,
Mhm.
and maybe tweak his character. I'm not saying that's necessarily good. I'm just trying to say that I sometimes it's a necessary evil.
Right.
Um, but yeah, I was not bored watching this. I didn't laugh at any of it. Like, I kind of felt like the, like, pose, like, skadoosh, like that sort of stuff is like, okay, those are in it for the kids. That's
Mhm.
for the young audience members. I didn't think it was distracting. I was just like, okay, this is here. Uh and yeah, like, story-wise, a lot of the stuff, like, I think there's even a joke where the bad guy's like, "How did you live?" And Poe's like, "Oh, some sort of kung fu magic spirit light, yada yada yada." Like the
Mhm.
show does kind of acknowledge that, like, some of the things that happen in this are just blatantly,
Ridiculous.
like, not even ridiculous, but just thought up on the spot plot
Yeah.
maneuvers that aren't based in, like, any actual earned thing. Just magical spiritual nonsense needs to happen when it happens. Um so Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
Um, but again, I think a thing with it too is that, again, hearing it be called Legends of Awesomeness and knowing Nickelodeon and knowing, these movie spin-offs qualities and all this sort of thing, I went into it with pretty low expectations.
Yeah, it
So,
kind of sets itself up like that.
right, right. Um,
But yeah,
Skadoosh was in the movie. No, I know. I'm aware. Skadoosh is his catchphrase. It's like what's his face saying Kacha or whatever.
Lightning
Kerchoo.
McQueen,
No, Mater.
Thunder McCrunchy,
Kerchoo. You know.
Kerchoo. Yeah, okay,
uh,
that's fair.
yeah, yeah. Um, let's see. Anyone
Yeah.
else have anything to say about this? The premise was made for younger audiences. Um, yeah. I don't know. Again, it's like I think better than you think is how
Mhm.
I'd put this. I don't feel like I wasted my time having watched it. I I wouldn't ever watch it again, and I wouldn't have sought this out on its own. But I again, I have no idea how this reflects on the rest of the series. It's a
Mm-hmm.
big two-parter, so it could, for all I know, be the only serious episode, and everything else is about, pose, I don't know, stupidity or whatever. Uh, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I don't see myself. This didn't really do anything to really get me to want to watch more of the show. So,
Mm.
I mean, if this is the best it had to offer, like it's fine, but it's just fine. I wasn't
Oh
really.
yeah, everyone thinking I was serious with Kurt Schue.
Oh my gosh.
Guys, I'm aware. I'm aware what the correct way is, but I don't really respect Cars as. No, I respect Cars as a movie. I just don't really like Cars very much, so I don't care.
Yeah, at
There
least
was a
Cars
meme
was
for a
good.
long time with Kurt Schue. I don't know if that's still. It's probably not still known, but Kurt Schue, like a poorly drawn version of Lightning McQueen with Kurt Schue, and I just find that so funny, and I don't know why.
Well,
Um,
memes are funny.
Lightning McQueen's catchphrase, Kurzinga.
Oh, oh no.
Oh gosh. Uh, um. Okay,
All
we can
right.
move on from this. Yeah.
Okay, so next up we've got South Park with Raising the Bar.
Okay, let's try to summarize this.
There's a
So,
lot here.
yes. So South Park tries to jam as many things going on in pop culture at the time into this episode as possible. So, um, the story is that uh, the story is that Cartman gets a handicap scooter because he's lazy, not because he actually needs it. And um, there's this overall sense that the bar has been lowered in terms of like society because of things like Honey Boo Boo and other low grade reality shows.
Hmm.
Uh, Cartman gets to be the star of his own reality show that rivals Honey Boo Boo, and then him and Honey Boo Boo fight. Meanwhile, James Cameron is trying to raise the bar that he believes is in the ocean, that the bar, like the standard, is a literal thing that he is trying to raise.
Yep.
And then he does. That's that's like it as far as the story, but in terms of what this episode covers, um it covers people like using like handicap scooters, particularly in Walmart.
Hmm.
It covers Honey Boo Boo. It
Yep. And the
covers
state of
James,
television,
yeah,
basically.
James Cameron.
Michelle
Randy
Obama.
Newman. Yeah, Michelle Obama. Right, Michelle Obama's
Hmm.
health initiative. Randy Newman they make fun of in this episode.
Yep.
Like, there's just a lot. I feel like this is it's the inverse of the freemium episode, in that the
Yeah.
freemium episode is one issue where it's the story, it's not really much of a story, but it tackles one issue, it tackles it well, and it knows what it is and whatever. This one also had a very flimsy actual story, and instead is just bouncing from pop culture thing to pop culture thing, that with a very loose tied together thing, and they're not really saying a whole lot other than, wow, don't isn't the standard low, like
Hmm.
for entertainment or for people, or for what's considered good taste. That's all they have to say, and it's just kind of this one's weak.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the most I mean, the one thing I got was like, okay, at least they have some self-awareness and
Yeah,
acknowledging where they're like, maybe we are somehow to blame for this. And I'm like, yeah, you kind of are in
right. Well,
some
there's
ways.
this. I don't know whether it's intentional or not, but they're making an episode about like Honey Boo Boo and like gross out television and
Hmm.
low standards, but yet they're South Park. You know what I mean? Like that, but the episode itself is low grade humor,
Yeah.
low grade storytelling, gross out, reliant. It doesn't. Granted, no kids were harmed in this, unlike the Honey Boo Boo show.
Hmm.
Um, but still, and yeah, they comment on that. They say maybe we're to blame, like as in South Park had something to do with culture devolving. But I don't honestly, I don't think I don't know. I don't think that the bar has been lowered or was lowered or any like there's always going to be low grade trashy television. There's always going to be people who don't behave themselves. There's always going to be trashy people and rude
Yeah.
people and whatever. Like I don't find that this episode like rings true and there's certain things like there's things that don't age well. I think that the whole mobility scooter thing is really poorly implemented in this episode in the sense that in a lot of episodes Cartman takes advantage of a legitimate issue just because he's selfish and stupid, right?
Right.
In this episode, the consensus, or at least all they show, is that yeah, look at all these fat people. Let's make fun of fat people who they don't need these scooters.
Yeah, they just portray them as like jerks who get in the way. Like that's
right,
all they do with it.
but in reality, you have no idea what someone might then they might have some difficulty walking or whatever.
Right.
Or they might have a genetic issue that's causing their weight. Like you have no idea. In this episode, the only time it comments on that, like the other side of the issue or whatever, is when Cartman tries to skip in line and there's a little boy with no legs, right?
Yep.
And so you kind of get the feeling like they're saying, okay, there are legitimate uses of mobility scooters, but they don't hit on that because there's too many other things they cram into this episode, and it just comes off as the people behind South Park saying, look at these losers with mobility scooters," and it's like, no, that's a sad talking point that really devalues and humiliates people. Yes, there's people who take advantage of it, of course, but I don't remember there being tons and tons of overweight people using mobility scooters. Not to my knowledge. I was around at this time. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I've been to Disney World. Like, there's not a bajillion people in them using them to just cut line. Like that's not. I don't know.
Yeah.
I feel like it used hyperbole in a negative way. Like
Yes.
It didn't really address the issue or use it like it. This could have been a great satire, but instead it just like completely missed the mark. And yeah, the whole thing with James Cameron, like it's weird.
What
but
on
it's
earth
like,
did James? But hang on. Did James Cameron do anything in 2012?
like because this was
Other
post
than
Avatar. This was
right?
after Avatar. I don't know what movie he made after that. I can't remember anyways.
Not Avatar 2. I can tell you that much.
Nope. Which also didn't age well in this episode. But yeah, I don't know what because I can't think of what would have been relevant around the time involving him.
I'm looking.
Someone in the chat might know too.
Probably only has a few films. No, that was the last movie he made, Avatar.
Okay, then yeah, I don't know what would be related to that unless he said something in the news.
There might have been something, but it's just lost to the sands of time in terms of our what we know.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you, Lily K.
Had a 3D re-release. Okay.
Lily K mentioning invisible disabilities. That's what I was trying to get at. That, yeah, this episode seems to propagate the idea of if you see someone on a mobility scooter and they just look fat, right? They don't need it. Instead of the what you should be doing is not judging other people and thinking, well, maybe they have something that I don't know about. Let's just leave them be instead of gawking.
Yeah, like they're minding their own business. Like that's all you got to do. Just
right.
live your
and
life,
that's
let them live theirs.
That's the thing too. They don't portray the mobility scooter people as being in the way or anything. Like they portray them as fat losers, according to South Park. But they don't show them as being like a problem. But yet for some reason Kyle has this big, this is the thing that sets off the whole the bar has been lowered thing, and it's like, really? People on mobility scooters, that's where the bar has been lowered to? Like that's it? Really? Well, so the lowered bar is providing more accessibility to people shopping in Walmart.
Mm-hmm.
I don't. You know what a better example would have been people like Cartman who don't need these scooters, taking them away from Walmart, using them, while meanwhile you have actually disabled people who are like stuck at the front of Walmart that actually can't get in and use the services because Cartman and people who are legitimately trashy have taken them.
Yeah.
That would be a better idea there.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, say what you want about South Park, but I will say that in most cases they at least swing for the fences, and I don't think this episode works at all, but at least it provides us with some weird random stuff to talk about instead of just being boring.
Right. Yeah. Absolutely.
Pico Weedle says James Cameron went on a deep sea expedition in that year, I think. That
So
makes
that's
sense. That
probably
would
what that's
right.
tying into then. Yeah.
And I mean, sure, James Cameron probably has an ego. You know, he's achieved some great things, but he also hasn't made a movie in how many years? Um, he doesn't have a huge filmography or whatever.
I think he did. He made that Alita Battle Angel movie like 2 years ago, but I don't know how
Oh,
well received that was.
Wikipedia doesn't know about that then.
Oh.
um,
Huh.
yeah, and then the Randy Newman thing, I found to just be let's just take a pot shot because we don't like him. That seemed
Yeah.
to be it. I don't know a lot about Randy Newman, but like I like his music in Toy Story. I don't, to my knowledge, he's never done the theme song to a reality show. Like that seems like a really, I don't know. It seemed like they just took a pot shot at him for no reason whatsoever. Maybe we're missing context, but it's just like, and it's not funny. Like it's
No.
just he's just there, and James Cameron fights him, and like it's just like, I don't know. Oh, apparently Avatar 2 and 3 are finished and scheduled to be released in December 2022 and 2024. Psh, I don't
Okay.
care. I don't care. I never saw Avatar. I don't care.
Yeah.
I'm upset that they took away the name from Korra. That's the only thing I care about
That was the
Avatar.
most annoying thing too. When
Yep.
Avatar and like The Last Airbender both came out around the same time, and there was also the show. It's like, well, how do you
Yep.
differentiate these?
Now people always have to put the qualifier when you say I love Avatar.
Yep.
Yeah. It's a generic word. I will give it that. Yeah, what else? Honey Boo Boo. I mean, look, I think like the only valid thing they're saying in this episode is that Honey Boo Boo was a trashy reality show that just kind of takes advantage of a little kid. Not that the episode really hammers that home very well. They just kind of say that it's trash.
Yeah.
But like, I won't disagree with that. It is trash and it does suck. Um,
I mean, I
the
think it's
one
also
thing that I
important that they acknowledge that it's, in part, it's the viewer's fault that it's so successful, which
yeah,
I also agree with that mentality that consumers have a lot to do with whether or not a show takes off or not. You know, if people will consume it, then that's what makes it successful ultimately. So, I mean, I agree with that. I'm not saying it was handled the best, but I agree with what they're getting at.
yeah. Um, the funniest thing I will say that I thought in the episode was at the end where Michelle Obama promises to start fighting childhood obesity
Yes,
by
and then
beating
she
up
just
Cartman.
beats up Cartman.
That's
Yeah,
a great joke. I did not see that coming at all.
yeah,
I'm surprised they don't make fun of Michelle Obama. Good for them at least.
I
Like they,
know.
you know. Um, so yeah, it's just a shame because you know South Park. I'm sure they had better episodes in this season. Um, I don't know offhand, but like this is one of the stinkers, and it's just they just jammed way too many ideas into this one. Honestly, Cartman getting his own reality show that's as trashy and exploitative as possible, that could have been an episode by itself. You
Hmm.
don't need the mobility scooters, you don't need you know, the bar, you don't need James Cameron, Randy Newman, all this other stuff. You could have just had an episode about that talks about like lowest common denominator reality shows, taking advantage of the kids that are in these reality shows that they don't really know what they're doing or saying. They could have done an episode about that, and maybe they have done a reality show episode. I feel like they should have. They probably did at some
Hmm.
point, but that could have just been the whole thing.
Yeah.
Uh, but yeah, this is just it's like, and then there's also weird stuff in there like they spend a lot of time on Cartman's wheelchair or his handicap chair getting like a thing that lets him untip himself once he's been pushed over. Like, what was the point of that? Is that a thing? Like, where is that supposed to be funny that like his thing can now self-correct it? Like, what was the point of all of it?
Yeah,
I
I
don't
don't
know.
know. I mean, that's the other thing. I didn't really appreciate the fact that they kind of associated, people in those chairs to what were essentially cows. I kind of found that offensive in a not humorous way.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I mean, that just came across as like derogatory and unnecessary. But
Yeah, I mean, look, I get it. 2013 wasn't as uh, conscious of issues that people face and discrimination that overweight people and whatever. But that I still don't think that's a great excuse for this. And
yeah,
I'm gonna be honest, it's not. This episode's not even funny in a dark way. There are times on South Park where it's just so disturbed, like Michelle Obama beating up Cartman.
hmm,
Like that's so over the top. It's in dark, it's funny, but in this, it's just like it's offensive, but not even funny offensive. It's just here. So yeah,
yeah, yeah.
all right,
Not
we can
impressed.
we can move on.
All right. So number 4, regular show, the Christmas special.
Okay, just
What?
called the Christmas special.
Yep. What a wild ride this one is. My
uh,
goodness.
okay, so Santa Claus is shot 3 times in the chest in the opening. He falls to the ground, and Mordecai and Rigby find him, and he tells them that they have to destroy this present that contains basically what everyone has always wanted. And if you open it, you start fighting with everyone else because over the box. So they go to some rival park where there's a lava pit in the center of it, and then they have to go through several arcade-based challenges uh, in order to get to the lava pit. The bad guy from the beginning of the episode shows back up, and then he gets sucked into the lava pit. Santa Claus is fine. He was wearing a bulletproof vest, and
Yep.
then Back to the Future reference. That's the best I can. That's the best I can muster.
I mean, I think that pretty much hits the nail on the head. Yeah, this is one of the weirdest Christmas specials I've ever seen.
Well, I was telling Shadow, Cartoon Network has just the tradition of so many of its specials have to be violent. Or not even special, just Christmas episodes. Like Dexter versus Santa Claus, 'Twas the Fight Before Christmas, Operation Naughty. Just a lot of them off the top of my head are not even just violent, but excessively violent. And this thing opens up with Santa Claus being shot with a real looking gun, not a fantasy gun or whatever, 3 times in the chest, and presumed to be left for dead too towards the beginning of the episode, which is just a really gutsy way to begin your Cartoon Network Christmas episode. uh, uh, mm.
Yeah, it's strange cuz like it starts off like that and then it's just the characters having like a house party and then they find Santa Claus and he's like you need to take this box, keep it safe. We need to destroy it. And then like the whole gang get together and then they go on this journey to what is
An
essentially,
unexpected voyage.
yeah. And then like God, it's so weird. Like the influence from you mentioned this because like I'm not very familiar with regular show. I haven't seen that much of it.
Mhm.
But you mentioned that the creator is like very, very into the 80s. And there's so many like just things like with the different challenges going on that they encounter, like the whole sequence where the uh gumball machine character,
Benson.
yeah, Benson. When he has to like play pinball to get this like ice path to build itself, and like that's that's a creative idea. I'll give him that. But it's just like so wacky and it's so high energy. Like it feels like there's not much room for a break once they get going, once they leave the party. But I kind of like that cuz it's just like it's just going nonstop and I feel like that's probably what a lot of the show is like. Um,
It's certainly, I guess, old school of a show in terms of like there are a lot of older cartoons which really just feel like the creators were like just making up the most weird random thing they could come up with on the spot. You
Mm-hmm.
know what I mean? Like the story is driven by how weird can we make it.
Yeah.
And that's genuinely what this is. It really is how weird can we make it? Because uh oh gosh, the big headed dude, Pops. Yeah. Um he wrestles a polar
Yeah.
bear and then after he beats it, the polar bear is revealed to be able to talk and it
He's
has this
like,
weirdly animated mouth and a really deep voice.
mm-hmm.
And it's just so weird. It's enjoyable how weird it is. I wouldn't say I loved this personally. But I was entertained by it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've got a very similar sentiment. I was very entertained, but like I said, it's one of the weirdest Christmas specials I've ever seen. And
Yeah. There's
as
no
a
message. Like
yeah,
there's no point to any of it really.
no,
It's just dumb fun.
as a traditional Christmas episode, it like if you're looking for a traditional episode, then this is going to disappoint you because it completely fails at being that, but it's not
There's nothing
trying to be
wholesome.
that.
There's nothing at all wholesome, including the ending where uh Gumball Benson is like, "Hey guys, help me clean up after the party." And they're like, "Aw," and then they hide from him with their invisibility cloaks that they got from Santa. Like, really, guys? Like, you can't even help out Gumball Man? Come on, Princess Gumball needs you. Uh.
Yeah.
Oh, apparently the wrestling the bear was a callback. Um, yeah.
Huh. Okay.
Uh,
Interesting.
yeah.
Yeah, I
What do we
thought
think? Yeah.
I was gonna say, because I saw someone saying, "What do you think about the soundtrack during the final battle?" The
Yeah.
final battle in general was pretty hype. Not gonna lie, the fact that it's Mordecai falling and Rigby falling into this giant lava pit after like the elf with the box, and they're constantly fighting over the box, and then the fact when Rigby and the elf are both looking in the box and the box is like not sure what to do and it's just constantly flipping back and forth, back and forth. It's like it builds a lot of like high tension, but it's also like insane, especially when like Mordecai just grabs the box, then he pulls out these hoverboards and they just get on these hoverboards and they fly right out of there. And then like the elf dude falls in the lava pit and it's like we don't quite see him fall in, but we see him sinking in when most of his body's submerged, was like, okay, I mean, I'm impressed they showed that at all. So, yeah, this like I'm genuinely surprised regular show was allowed to get away with as much as it did, especially considering this was the 2010s by this point.
That sweet, sweet PG rating.
Yeah.
You can do anything you want as long as a parent is there. Uh, um, yeah, there's a Back to the Future reference,
Mm-hmm.
which is not the last time that'll be brought up this week. uh, um, yeah, I don't know. I enjoyed this in a stream of conscience kind of way. In that, like, I don't even sitting here and describing it. Like, I don't even feel like we're, I guess, doing it justice, or like I don't think this is the kind of episode that you can really sit down and like let's compartmentalize the jokes and the references and it's just like
Mm.
you got to experience it. Do you think this deserved to be nominated?
No.
Yeah, I was happy to see Regular Show was on here because I know it's a show that means a lot to a lot of people, but I don't think like it. Look, it's got Ed Asner playing Santa Claus. He has
Mm-hmm.
like his interpretation of Santa is pretty cool. It's unexpectedly violent, right? Like it's
Mm-hmm.
unexpected, but I don't think that this did anything that justifies it. I don't think the animation was particularly good. Like I thought it was just
Mm-hmm.
solid. There were a few times in the volcano or in the lava where the box was rotating, and I'm like, that does not look like a box anymore. That's okay. Boxes are hard. I know.
Mm-hmm.
No, but like I didn't feel like this did anything special. Like it was fine. I mean, if you want to nominate things that are just like enjoyable episodes, sure. But I would have assumed that an award should be given out to something that's a little more than that, personally.
Yeah, something substantial, or like I've said, like something that breaks new ground or does something that hasn't really been done much before, if ever.
Yeah.
This doesn't really break the mold at all.
Hmm. Yeah, like I think in terms of I'm glad regular show is here, but the category isn't let's nominate a show, it's let's pick an episode. And
Hmm.
I know most of the rest of them are 11 minutes, but it's just like I don't know, it's just weird. The Real Jim says the Christmas special is kind of an odd regular show episode because they often start out pretty mundane and get really crazy in the second half. I do remember that from the little I know about this show. I remember that in the Pie episode.
It's always pies with you, man.
It's always Powerpuff Girls reboots with you, man.
Nah, I'm past that point in my life now. There's
But
no
you brought it
turning
up
back.
more in this live show than any other week.
Well, that's because somebody decided to bring up the T word. But
Hmm. Townsville?
yeah, that's it.
Uh, um, yeah. So I don't know.
Hmm.
Like as an outsider to regular show, again, I thought this was fine, but I would not have nominated this personally.
I also don't. It was wacky and fun, but I don't see myself really needing to go back. I feel like a second watch wouldn't change anything for me.
Yeah.
So, yeah, see it once. I mean, pretty much get the picture. So,
Yeah, we can move on.
all right. So, last but not least, we have everyone's favorite. It's a classic. It's been nominated every year except for like 3. Uh, The Simpsons. Yay! With Treehouse of Horror 23, or as Pi likes to call it, XXIII.
Yes. So this Treehouse of Horror is basically 4 segments. Like the intro is
Mm-hmm.
sizably long. Um, in the intro, it's ancient. We're an ancient Mayan civilization, but with all the Springfield cast as Mayans, and they fail to sacrifice the Mayan Homer, and therefore the end of the world will come, but not for another, however many more years. And
Mm-hmm.
then we cut to 2012, and the apocalypse
Yep,
happens.
because that was a big thing at that time.
Yep. Then the first segment is about um, a black hole being created in, I believe, a particle accelerator, and just kind of going around Townsville, going around
Townsville.
Springfield, and sucking everything in. The characters throw trash in it, that sort of stuff. The third segment, however you want to classify this, it's a paranormal activity parody where there's demons and Homer videotapes all of it. The last segment is a Back to the Future parody, but it's an incredibly strange Back to the Future parody where Bart goes back in time, accidentally makes his parents not fall in love, and then is fine with it because Artie Ziff is just like better than Homer apparently. Oh dear.
Yeah, this one was. I don't know. I wasn't really sold on any of them, honestly.
Really? I thought this was a good Treehouse of Horror. I thought this was a pretty solid Simpsons episode.
I thought it was fine. I mean, I don't know. I don't even know which one I'd say is my favorite of the 3. I feel like I feel like the paranormal activity one was like it was good, but it was also very much again kind of showing the product of its time because obviously these movies were big.
Yes.
And I don't know, I wasn't really feeling it.
Okay. That's
Yeah.
fine. Um, I will say my main criticism of this, and I think all of the endings are incredibly abrupt.
Mhm.
All of them, even the Mayan one, where it's like it's a very long thing about they're gonna sacrifice Homer, but then Marge seduces Moe, and then Moe gets sacrificed, and there's joke about playing with his head. Like there's all sorts of stuff, and then it just abruptly cuts to 2012, and then there's just demons that like step on Homer. Like
Yep.
there's that. The black hole segment just ends like that one actually has, I guess, a little more of an ending with aliens.
Mhm.
The paranormal activity segment ends with a
The
uh
Homer's doing
uh
stuff, I
yeah,
guess.
Homer taking one for the team, I guess,
Yep.
for his family.
He seems into
And
it though,
then
so.
and then the Back to the Future parody is just Marge just decides to marry all
All
versions
the
of Homer.
Homers, yeah.
There's a bunch of Homers that time travel together, and yeah. So that would be my criticism. But I think honestly, I think this is a worthy nomination because the black hole segment has a lot of cool stuff like animation wise about the black hole dismantling things. Like there's
Hmm.
full houses that get like shingle by shingle torn apart, and it looks really cool.
Hmm.
The segment,
I like the warping effect that they have around the black hole, like
yes,
how they kind of like show the screen kind of like doing a fisheye kind of effect. I think that really
yeah,
like makes it. It kind of
there's a
plays
warp
to the whole
effect.
like reality bending type thing, and I love how they play on the spaghettification concept by stretching out Homer's arm. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
did
that
like that.
was funny.
Yeah.
And oh, and Lisa being disturbed by Homer's hand stays elongated
Yep.
throughout the rest of it, and he does weird things like cross his fingers like multiple times over,
Hmm.
pick his ear, like stuff like that. I thought that was really funny. Um, I like that the joke about how everyone blames Lisa for there being a particle accelerator built instead of like a new baseball stadium or whatever.
Hmm.
Um, and I like I like how Homer's like, well, the flag still works because the Springfield Isotopes are the baseball team, but
Hmm.
you know, isotopes are micro. So, uh,
Oh,
yeah.
I also like the one joke of the kid throwing in Disney's The Black Hole into the black hole. I thought that was pretty good.
Yes, yes. I like how nonchalant Lisa is about Ralph getting sucked into the thing. Uh, oh, and the resolution to it is great, where Maggie's pacifier gets sucked into it, and
Hmm.
it's just content at that point.
Yep.
Uh, um, yeah, no, I thought the black hole segment was. I mean, it has the best ending of all of them, so I think just as a whole, it works the best. As a whole, yeah,
Yeah. Got him.
yeah. Um, Yeah, and it's fun. You know, just a fun concept. People throw a bunch of garbage into it, and then they end up on through this crazy transition sequence. They end up on the other side of the black hole, and it's an alien planet where they worship garbage because all the Springfieldians have been throwing garbage in, and that's where they're trapped. And I thought I was like, okay, that's a solid ending.
Yep.
Um, and except for Maggie, who's just alone in Springfield, I guess. Um, the paranormal activity. Okay, I will agree that it is in terms of subject matter, it like the story is not very interesting. They're haunted by a demon. Well, you know, really, it's like the Paranormal Activity movies in that it's kind of style over substance, right? It doesn't
Yep.
really matter what the demon is that's haunting them. It doesn't matter what you know, whatever. It's all about the handheld camera. And I have to say, if nothing else, I think this segment deserves to be nominated, and I think it works well because of the first person perspective, because of the camera, the like Homer falls down the stairs and the
Hmm.
camera goes nuts, and it's
Yeah.
like, how did they do that in 2D animation and make it look so good? I don't know. They probably used some sort of CG reference or something. But I thought
Hmm.
that was like a really cool sequence,
Hmm.
and the handheld camera effect throughout the whole thing, like, looks real. It looks like a handheld camera shot episode. And that's really neat. I although it might be hokey by now to do it in live action, I thought that the style was really like unique and interesting for the episode.
Hmm. Yeah. I um I think that in terms of the way that they kind of structured each scene, like they definitely made it feel like not even just like with the way that they kind of had the whole like filter over the screen and the way they had the movement, but
Yep.
also
Yep.
the staging of like they
Yes.
purposely put a camera in a specific position so that they could show things from that angle. And they could kind of basically board each shot exactly how they wanted because they had that advantage of it also being an animated medium, to do that. So yeah, I think the more I think about it, I think like I definitely appreciate the structuring and the kind of presentation of this segment more than I do, I guess, just the concept. And also like
Yeah.
again, at the time that this came out, this was also like a much bigger, like fresher thing, whereas now
Yeah.
it's kind of overdone. Um,
Well, yeah,
so
didn't they come
like
out with like five paranormal activities in like
yeah, something
two
like that.
years
And
or
then there were
whatever?
also a bunch of other rip-offs that did
Uh-huh.
other similar stuff. And yeah, it's just, you know, it was. I'd probably appreciate it more back
Well,
then.
to be fair, what I will say, to be fair, the first one came out in 2007, and the second one came out in 2010. The third one came out in 2011, and the fourth one was in 2012. So by the time that this was parodied, it's not like it was
Yeah.
super fresh. More fresh than it is now, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I'm not. Let's not try to paint them as being on the ball with this one because they weren't.
Hmm. Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, I just feel like the aging has kind of hindered it a little bit, but from the perspective of it being 2013 when it came out, it was
Yeah.
probably, probably more worthy then. So like my opinion of the episode now, like, is lower than what I would think when I'm thinking from a frame of reference of the year that it was nominated. And the same
Yeah.
holds true for South Park as well, because it's like now it's like obviously dated, but getting in the mindset of what it was like when it was nominated, um, like I appreciate it. I would appreciate it more then than I do now. So there's just
Mhm.
kind of that to keep in mind.
Yeah.
But
So
yeah.
yeah. No, I do agree. It's not. I just it's style over substance, but I think the style is still worthy, especially like man, if you compare this to a lot of the other Treehouse of Horror segments where they're just straight up movie parodies or whatever, I
Hmm.
still think this one's a lot better. I think this has a thing going for it versus just let's tell the dang story. Yeah. As far as I mean, like once it's revealed what the demon is and everything, like then the whole thing slows down and it just becomes one dialogue. I like why the demon was haunting them. That it, would totally make sense that Marge's horrible sisters would be summoning the devil.
Hmm.
Um, but and I like that it was like Mo and that he makes a pot shot at Mo and stuff. But I don't know. The ending punchline is just really like, really guys, like really
Yeah.
okay, like
Yeah.
um, yeah. So okay, so then the last segment is the Back to the Future parody,
Hmm.
and I'm a sucker for Back to the Future, but I also really like how this one really like it uses some things from Back to the Future, but then it decides to just completely go the other direction in some ways.
Hmm.
Now, Shadow, you don't have this perspective, but the events of this episode are seen in, I believe, the season two or maybe season three episode, the way we were, the way we was. It's one of those two. That basically
Okay.
one of the first flashback episodes they do on the show is to Homer and Marge in high school meeting, where Marge goes to prom with Artie Ziff, the guy mentioned. Like that character is a long-standing character in the show who has long had a crush on Marge, but ruined his chance at the prom. Homer was there to comfort Marge, and that's how they get together and everything, which is kind of Back to the Future-y in a way.
Hmm.
But so there's like some neat continuity stuff going on there.
Yeah.
Uh, but then yeah, I like the fact that like Bart likes his life being Artie Ziff's son.
Hmm.
I like the reveal. Okay, it was season two, and it was the way we was. I like the reveal of Bart taking off the cap, and he's got Artie Ziff
Yeah.
afro.
Yeah. That was good.
uh, I like that Homer stows away in the trunk of the time traveling car in a nod to Back to the Future. Like, um, yeah, there's a lot of kind of clever things that they do in here that make it more than just let's just tell Back to the Future. It's like let's use Back to the Future as a framework and then make
Hmm.
it go in all sorts of weird ways. I wish this segment was longer. Like I
Hmm.
don't know. I would have cut the whole Mayan thing. I get it, 2012, you got to reference it or whatever, but like those intro segments don't need to be so long. I don't know why
No.
they make them so long. There's already not much time to tell three stories. Why would you try to do another one on top of it? Just let it give some very short intro and then let's get on with it. I feel like there was as much time dedicated to the intro in this than as the wraparound segments in the very early Treehouse of Horrors when they used to do full wraparound segments instead of just intros. Um, yeah, so
Hmm.
I don't know. And yes, John Lovitz is pretty great. uh, um, yeah, I don't know. What did you think of this one?
This one was. I mean, I appreciate that it was definitely not just a one-to-one like recreation of Back to the Future, like you mentioned, but I don't know. It was also just like my least favorite of the three, just because like I don't know. maybe it's just my expectations, but like there wasn't really a lot of like horror-esque aspects to this one.
No, buddy, you gotta throw that
Okay, because
preconceived
like,
notion out because no. They listen. It's called Treehouse of Horror, but at a certain point there's a Harry Potter parody in one of them. They're just
mhm,
like, all right, this is where we're gonna shuffle the stories that we can't tell in the main Simpsons
yeah.
universe.
I just
Um,
figured there, because like at least all the segments that we've seen across all the Treehouse of Horrors, in some way, shape, or form, have had some kind of like underlying like disturbing element to it,
but we've
and
only
like
seen one other Treehouse of Horror. The other one was the Halloween episode, and then the
right,
other one was the Thanksgiving of Horror.
right. But like, I mean, I don't know. It's Thanksgiving, but they still did the same like idea, just with a
Mhm.
different holiday.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I guess yeah, maybe it is just a preconceived notion.
I mean,
But
it's fair. It's a reasonable notion. Uh, but I guess it's just, knowing The Simpsons, I know that, like, at a certain point, this is just where they put fantastic stories.
mhm.
Usually spooky ones, but certainly not always. And I don't expect you to have the same reaction to because it's the continuity nods, It's
Yeah,
like,
right.
this could have been an episode of the recast in some ways, that segment.
Mhm.
But, yeah. I like, and it's kind of funny too because in most other like interpretations, Ziff is just kind of a loser. Like I think actually he becomes like a millionaire or something. I don't know, but he is just this dorky loser played by uh John Lovitz, and he's a good character.
Mhm.
Um, the Back to the Future one is one of the least Halloweeny. Shut up, Jims. What do you know about The Simpsons? What do you know?
Well,
Uh,
someone's got my back.
the Harry Potter segment. How about the superhero one, where Bart and Lisa get superpowers? Nothing to do with Halloween. Treehouse of movie parodies. Fair enough. Fair enough. Uh, but no, I think this episode deserved to be nominated. I think that the cool handheld stuff in the paranormal activity segment. I think the cool effects and the transportation sequence or whatever in the black hole segment, and the black hole segment was just clever in general.
Yeah.
I think that makes it worthy, and I think that this was fun callbacks. So yeah, I wouldn't say this is top tier Simpsons episode, but I think if you're looking for like a trio of fun episodes or fun segments that have some fun, you know, cool effects in them, I think that this is here, and I think this deserved to be nominated.
Mhm. Yeah, I mean
Hey.
it's certainly better than most of the nominees here. I'll give it that much.
hmm
So, can't argue with that.
hmm and Jims, this is what you get for railing on me about Bob's Burgers all the time. This is your payback.
Oh,
um, yeah. Okay.
all right.
So that is all the episodes, right?
Yep, that's all 5 of them.
All right. So let's. I do want to just give some reminders. First of all, we now have a Discord server. Whoa.
Join it.
If you don't see it in the description, refresh the page, and it should be there.
Yep.
To join us and to chat. Also, don't forget that we have a poll going on right now. It's the second link down in the description, where you can vote for which episode of these 5 you think is the most award worthy. And we will give it the Award Show Audit Award in a little bit.
Mhm.
Please vote. So yeah. Um. Okay. So what won the Emmy this year, Shadow?
All right. So the winner for the 2013 Primetime Emmy Awards for an animated program was South Park with Raising the Bar.
Really?
Yes, really.
Wow.
I don't know that I would have given it to this one, but
I know I wouldn't. Come on. I wouldn't. I don't think that episode deserves to even be nominated. It doesn't. It has topical issues in it, but that's it. It doesn't say anything smart about any of those issues.
mm-mm.
It just makes fun of Randy Newman. Like
Yeah.
I that is baffling to me. That is utterly baffling to me. I like South Park sometimes, but like come on, man.
There's too much going on in it, and it doesn't say anything about any of the things that it tries to talk about. So
No. Is
that
this
is
like some
annoying.
sort of like ego thing, right? Where it's like, yes, the bar has been lowered for television. Let's us Emmy people, let's raise the bar by picking this incredibly clever South Park episode that makes fun of the Honey Boo Boo.
Hmm.
That's how I expect everyone that
Or
votes
maybe
on
they
these
just
to.
voted for it because they made James Cameron look cool. I don't know.
Did they make James Cameron look cool? They kind of made fun of him too.
They did, but I
But
mean,
less
to
so than
someone who's
Randy
not paying
Newman.
attention. Yeah, exactly. To someone who's not paying as close attention, they might think, "Oh yeah, he raised the bar. That's awesome. I like James Cameron. I'll vote for this episode."
Oh
I don't know.
God. Maybe they're all just fat shamers. Maybe they just. Gosh.
I hope not. Oh jeez, Rick.
Yeah, that's weird. All right. Well, what would you have picked, Shadow? Where do you rank these episodes?
So it's tough. I can't believe I'm saying this. I really can't.
Do it, Shadow. Do it.
I don't want to say it,
Oh, buddy, come on.
but I am
You do
going
it.
to say it. I liked the Bob's Burgers episode the most out of all of these. Now, it's probably
Oh,
an unpopular opinion, I know. I'm sorry, you probably just got shot through the heart. But,
me? I'm fine.
okay.
I'm happy about it. I appreciate it. I
Yeah.
don't listen. I don't hate on Bob's Burgers to hate on Bob's Burgers. If it does something good, I'm genuinely happy for it. And it did something good.
Yeah.
Okay, where would you put the rest?
Yeah, Bob's Burgers is my pick, followed by, I'd probably put Simpsons second, Kung Fu Panda third, regular show fourth, and South Park fifth.
Okay. Fair enough. Fair
Yeah.
enough. Did you think the Kung Fu Panda episode deserved to be nominated?
No, to be honest, I don't think any of these except for Simpsons and Bob's Burgers deserve to be nominated. I
Fair
like
enough.
this is a very mediocre year for me.
You think so? Okay.
Just
All right.
among those 5 episodes, I don't know. Like again, we kind of touched on it. Regular show didn't really seem like it should have been nominated. South Park's
Mhm.
episode was bad, and I mean to me at least, Kung Fu Panda was just average. It was just painfully
Okay.
average, but yeah,
All right.
that's mine.
Yeah, I guess here's where I'm struggling. Well, I'll work from the bottom up here. So,
Okay.
I think South Park was the worst one, easily,
Mhm.
easily. Um, it's a dumb episode that makes fun of overweight people and ignores the invisible disabilities. It wants to say that like standards have been lowered, but it has nothing clever to say about any of it. Its consensus is basically like, wow, things suck, you guys. Like, buzz off. Not liking Honey Boo Boo is not a bold opinion.
No.
Like, get out of here. So yeah, that's dead bottom for me. Yeah, I'll also put regular show at second to the bottom. I thought it was fine. Like it was an enjoyable enough episode, but I just didn't think it did anything special. Like I don't know. Kung Fu Panda, I'll put in the middle because the animation was good. Like for a CG show going back now like 8 years ago. Like that's pretty dang good animation. I thought the storytelling was competent, even though there was some things, and I thought that the tone of the show respected its audience and was good. I enjoyed it. It didn't make me want to watch the rest of the show, but I do think that it was solid. And then here's where I'm kind of stuck because I think that on a technical level, Treehouse of Horror does things a little more special than Bob's Burgers. I think Bob's Burgers is technically special amongst other Bob's Burgers episodes in that there are different shots. But but compared to, like I don't know. So do I go with something that is like technically impressive, or do I go with the thing that I think was just kind of the best episode of the bunch?
Mm-hmm.
That's a tough one. That's a tricky one. Um,
I mean, I think either way, like either way you go, you're pretty much justified in your argument because it's
of
just
course.
two different things. Just
That's
whichever
very
one.
true. It's almost like it's incredibly arbitrary to have such a wide category as just like best episode of a cartoon.
Correct.
Uh, um, you know what? I'm gonna give it to Bob's Burgers. I think
A.
I think Bob's Burgers. It's an episode about a thing that you use to get rid of your number two, but I'm gonna give it a number one,
Oh.
which I guess you also get rid of in it. Um, yes, I'll give Bob's Burgers it. You know what?
You
I thought
gotta
it was
respect it for not having that much toilet humor, despite being about a toilet. Like you gotta respect
yeah.
that.
It was an exceptionally funny and clever episode. I wish The Simpsons I wish the stories were a little better in each of the segments because I think I would have given it to them, but I kind of have to dock points that even though it's technically impressive and I think they're fun stories, I think that just on an overall like storytelling perspective, OT does it the best. It's surprising, it's interesting, it's fun, and it comes from a show that was still proving itself at the time, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So there we
Yeah.
go. Bob's Burgers. I wish this was the last time we had to talk about it because it would be a nice redemption story, but life isn't always that clean. We'll see how Burger Boss does next week. But yeah, OT. Who would have guessed? See you
I
guys.
before 6 o'clock this evening, I never would have expected this. So yeah, that's where we're
Uh,
at.
yeah. Yeah. Um yeah, I don't know. I'm not just hating on it to hate on it. You know what I mean? Like it's just
Yeah.
from what we saw of Bob's Burgers for a long time, it's just pathetically boring.
Hmm.
Miserably unfunny, horribly uninteresting visually. Subject matter seems to hit on the same thing over and over and over again. But no, this episode just blew me away in all other aspects. So,
Yep.
yeah. And we got a super chat about Owl House. Thanks, Alyssa. Owl House season 2 in 9 days. Trailer just dropped. Neat.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Wow. I can't believe we're here, man. Bob's Burgers started from the Bobdom, and now it's here.
We've done it. If only this were the last episode we had to watch.
It would be impressive if we
It
weren't going
would.
backwards in time.
Yeah, yeah. It would.
Okay. So, Mr. Shadow Streak. Do you have an episode this week that you would have nominated? You said that all of these were weak picks. So Shadow, what would you pick?
I'm gonna come clean, everyone. If I picked an episode for this week, I would be lying to you because I probably wouldn't have seen it. this was this was during a time where I didn't really watch very much TV or animation at all. And so I'm not very familiar with anything that came out around this time from like 2009 to 2013 cuz 2014 was around when I got back into watching animation again. And so I mean, I know Korra was a popular thing at the time. I don't really have any
Only
suggestions
on,
because I haven't seen much of Korra at all.
only the
And
last two episodes of Korra would have been, or
oh,
maybe just the last singular episode. Yeah, it
okay.
came out like around June. So,
There is
um,
one show that I have seen, but
okay.
I'm saving my pick for next week because the episode I want to pick falls into next week, so I'm not gonna pick it for
So
this
that
week.
doesn't count then. So it doesn't
I no
count.
no I know that's what I'm
So,
saying. I'm saying the only thing
no,
I
you
could
can't.
suggest.
The only, yeah, no, I would have had a nomination. It's just, it happened in 10 years.
It happened. It happened a month before the cutoff in the next year. So yeah, no, I apologize to anyone who was really looking forward to Shadow Streak's pick of the week. But
You heard it here
this week,
first. Shadow thought there was no good cartoons that
yep,
existed between June 2012 and June 2013.
yep, except
You
for the
heard it
Bob's
here.
Burgers episode and the Simpsons one. Those are the only two good episodes of the whole year. So there you go.
Was Powerpuff Girls Dance Pants this year? I don't think so. I thought that was 2014.
Technically yes, but I don't know that I would nominate that for an Emmy. Don't get me wrong, I like Powerpuff Girls, but I don't think Dance Pants is Emmy nominee worthy. That's just me though.
Okay.
But,
All right.
and that's coming from a Powerpuff fan, so like, I don't know. If you like Dance Pants, that's fine, but I don't think that's like Emmy worthy. We did a discussion on Dance Pants 3 years ago. You should go check it out.
We did.
It's on my channel. Give me some ad rev, please.
Wow.
Just kidding.
All right.
Just kidding.
Shadow Streak has run dry of the well of Powerpuff Girls reboots and is now desperately begging for
That
views.
is not true.
Here
I've got
it
a
is.
Powerpuff video coming out tomorrow.
Oh God.
But it's on the original, kind of.
I was right about Dance Pants being in 2014. Ha! So even Shadow didn't know that. Boom, boom, boom.
Yeah, it was January 2014. It was announced in 2013. That's right. Okay, so yeah, it wouldn't have qualified anyways. But either way,
I nominate the trailer for Dance Pants. No.
So I nominated a tangent that had nothing to do with anything. All right, Pi, what would you nominate?
Good job, buddy. Good job. Someone mentioned it's a SpongeBob Christmas. Was that actually in this time period? Because if it is, I think that's definitely worthy.
Yeah.
But that's not what I picked. What I picked was the episode Free Will Hunting from Futurama. It's an episode about Bender finding out that he does not have free will. And it's it's just kind of like deals with the philosophy of what is free will. Do humans have free will? Is everything we've ever done just been programmed into us and has been destined to come out and or to happen in the way it happens, and there's no other way to deal with it. And the episode is just kind of a fun take on it. It has a really fun opening sequence where Bender like just gets into all sorts of crazy debauchery. He falls in with the robot mafia. He goes to college and then drops out of college. He gets addicted to a drug. He gets real desperate. He gets put in front of a judge. Like it's just this crazy sequence of Bender being Bender. And then there's some fun stuff that happens in it. I don't think it's like a top tier Futurama episode or anything, but I think that it's an episode that covers an interesting subject matter in a pretty fun way. So that's what I would have picked from that season of Futurama.
Okay, my pick is it's a SpongeBob Christmas. It's a good episode. It's got a cool animation style that they never really have done before for SpongeBob. The songs are pretty memorable, and I like the memes that spawn from it. So that's my pick.
We did a discussion on this on my channel.
Yeah,
on
go buy some ad revenue.
Oh dear. Oh man.
All right.
Oh, and Gravity Falls. Yes, there's a decent amount of Gravity Falls that would gravity fall into this time frame. And yes, there's plenty of good episodes from that that could be nominated. So yeah, Shadow just, I don't know. He just was out living a life in 2012 and 2013.
I was living a life of high school. Yeah. All right. Well, on that note, I guess we can take a look at the poll.
Yeah, we can. We certainly can.
What do you think's gonna win it? What's your prediction?
I saw it before. Someone commented. Yeah, I saw it.
I'm going to predict that it's either Kung Fu Panda or Regular Show.
Okay.
That's my prediction. It's one of those two.
Okay.
But
all right, let's see what we got here. And the winner with 65% of 468 votes is indeed Regular Show, the Christmas special.
Really?
65% of the votes, and the next thing down had 11% of the votes, which was the South Park episode.
Okay.
After that, 9% of the votes got Kung Fu Panda, 7%, and Simpsons and Bob's Burgers are tied at 7%.
Wow.
This is the opposite of how I list it.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. Maybe we need to come up with a new system. I don't know that people getting a vote really is the thing that doesn't happen anymore.
Apparently, nobody's voice matters except yours.
No, I think we're more important. I don't know. Maybe we need to come up with a system where everyone else gets one vote. I get one vote, and you get one vote. And then we
Oh,
just
so it's
override
out of
everyone
3
every week.
votes. Yeah, okay.
Because we have very similar opinions all the dang time. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Your guys' vote matters. Although I do have to say, I think there is like a kids show bias on my channel. Which,
Yeah.
you know what? It's fine. It's fine because there's an anti-kids show bias on the real
On
Emmy
the
Awards,
actual Emmys.
seemingly. So it'll balance out. So yeah, there you go.
All right.
Maybe we'll do a poll in the Discord server instead of on YouTube, so only super
Only the
cool
Discord
fans.
members.
Mm.
Yeah.
We'll see. We'll see. We'll let you guys know of any major changes. But yeah, join the Discord server. Um, we'll we'll be using it and expanding it, and hopefully there's some cool discussion.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Votes are merely a factor taken into consideration, choosing the result. When you take it into consideration. Jim's gonna curate a list of regular show episodes, so I'll be less indifferent to it. That's good. It's nice. I've always been curious about the movie, because I keep seeing the poster on HBO Max, but I'm like, I probably shouldn't watch this first. Like that should be a later thing, right? Like I feel like it came out in like towards the end of the show.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Well, should we go ahead and announce next week's nominees?
I think we should. I before that, I do want to say I think that the batch this week of episodes was interesting. Like I thought, you know what? I don't know. Maybe it wasn't a good batch necessarily, but I thought it was an interesting batch to talk about. I hope we get more lineups like this, less one-note things. I mean, I don't know. In some ways, like I know we have The Simpsons a lot, but I hope we can get away from Treehouse of Horror just because it is. I don't know. After a while, it gets a little one note, and there's a lot more to the series than just Treehouse of Horror. So,
well,
yeah.
It's funny you say that, but we'll get to that in a second.
Should I say anything else that's foreshadowing-y? This was the first year that we had 2 kids shows, and I thought that was neat. I think that like a 2 to 3 ratio is like fair. In terms of like 3 adult shows, 2 kid shows, or 3 kid shows, 2 like I think there should have been a mix. Honestly,
even spread. Yeah.
You know what would be fair in my opinion? They should not let networks send in more than 1 episode.
Yeah. Yeah. Just pick their best episode of their best show.
Yeah, sorry Fox, you got to pick one. You can't submit Bob's Burgers and The Simpsons every year. You got to pick one. Cartoon Network gets to send one in. Nickelodeon gets one. Like I think that'd be a better way to narrow it down, personally. Yeah.
Netflix gets one. Yeah.
Yeah. And then TBS, and then like 1 slot is like a random slot. TBS, Disney Plus, HBO Max, whatever. So.
Yeah.
Okay. Now let's announce the nominees for 2012.
Yeah, so this is 2012's Primetime Emmy Award Animation half-hour program nominees. So first up, we've got Bob's Burgers for the final time, or the first time, depending on how you look at it. Burger Boss, which I'm curious about this one.
I know a little bit about that episode. I think you'll like the subject matter.
Yeah, I kind of have an idea, which is why I'm curious of it. But yeah, we'll see. We've also got American Dad with Hot Water.
All right, the CeeLo Green hot tub episode.
We've got The Penguins of Madagascar, The Return of the Revenge of Dr. Blowhole.
Oh, God.
Try saying that 5 times fast. We've got...
I won't.
Futurama, The Tip of the Zoidberg.
Ooh.
And last but not least, we don't have... Well, we have The Simpsons, but it's not Treehouse of Horror. This time, it's a different holiday special. Holidays of Future Past.
Oh, man. Oh, that's the episode, Shadow. That's the one. Oh, man. The Emmy voters would have to be absolutely brain dead to not pick that episode. Oh. Oh
I've definitely
man!
heard of that one before. So
Oh, it's the episode that everyone thinks that is basically the de facto series finale to The Simpsons. Regardless of anything else that happens, this is the one, even though it had a sequel episode. This is it, man. This is the episode. Woo!
yeah.
All right.
All right.
Thanks, Lenny Carl, for the super chat, by the way, who says, before you guys wrap up, just wanted to say thanks for the fun stream. I think this Emmy discussion is a fun and creative follow-up to the recast. Oh, well, thank you, Lenny.
Yeah, thanks.
You got a great name, and we really appreciate it. And we appreciate everyone being here. So,
Absolutely.
yeah. Oh man, next week's gonna be fun. Next week's gonna be fun. Ooh. All right. So we'll catch you guys next time for some holidays, some CeeLo Green hot tubs, some
Penguins.
Yeti, Zoidberg curing Yetiism. Yeah, returning and revenging, and the burger boss to end all burger bosses. Oh man. All right, guys. See you guys next week.
All right.
Bye, guy
See
rules
you then.
out.